Hello everyone, welcome to Difedas Creations. This is a YouTube channel where I teach drafting, I teach how to cut, I teach how to sew, and we'll talk about matters related to fashion as a whole with time. We won't limit our videos to drafting, we won't limit our videos to cutting or sewing. We'll talk about 1, 2, 3 things that has to do with crafts. I love encouraging people to do things themselves. I'm a firm believer of DIY, do it yourself. So we won't limit our videos to our tutorials to drafting alone, but I want to assure you that our videos would always be impactful, they would always be meaningful. So if you are new here, do me the favor of subscribing. Yes, your subscription matters a lot to the growth of this channel, and click on the notification bell as well so that you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. To all my subscribers, I love you all. I give you guys a big thumbs up. Without you, there's no Difedas Creations. Take it from me. So please like, comment and share my videos. Ask questions. Tell me the video you want to watch. Tell me so that at least I work towards it. Please talk to me in the comment section, and feel free to share my videos as well. Today's tutorial is going to be an interesting one. I know it's not strange, but well, it's going to be on how to draft a princess dart bustier. Yes, an armhole princess dart bustier. The armhole princess dart bustier, as the name implies, is that's princess seams, the princess lines that runs right through the armhole, the middle of the armhole, to connect to the apex point, that is the bust height, the highest point of the bust. And from there it moves to the under bust, where there would be a tightening, that's a modification at the under bust, to the waist, to connect with the waist darts. There would also be a modification at the waist as well. Look at the shape. Look at it. Look at the shape. So, can you believe I didn't even use wording on this? I actually did not use wording to pad this front part. So, I realized that the way you cut your bustier goes a long way in the effect, the overall effect people get to see. Even without wording, it is protruded and the shape is there. Can you see? The shape is there. I didn't hide anything under. There's nothing kept under. So this is it. So today's tutorial will be on how to make something like this. So let's get into business. As you can see, I have drafted the basic bodice block, half scale. Half scale means from your shoulder to your waistline. Now I'll go ahead, I'll label them. I'll label the marked lines. This is the shoulder line, the chest line, the bust line, the under bust line. I need this because I would as well modify the darts there. All this placed, the effect of the modification will be felt in all those places. So this is the waist line. Now let's get into the business of the day. Now the measurements I'm considering for the bust is 36. I used 15 for the shoulder. I divided the 15 by 2, and that is 7.5. I added half an inch for seam allowance. That is in case you want to attach sleeves to the bodies. So I added half an inch here for the seam. 7.5 plus half an inch. Now I came to the bust line. I measured it out. So now the bust span we would use for today's work is 7.5. 7.5 would be divided by 2. 7.5. Bust span means the nipple to nipple difference. So the measurement from one nipple to the other. So put your tape rule on your nipple measure from one nipple to the other nipple. That is just what your bust span is. So this is 3/4. I divided the 7.5 by 2. I have 3/3. You come to the bust line. Please, you are measuring on paper, not fabric. So when you are measuring on fabric, ensure you include the that provision. I'm not going to include mine here. I am measuring on paper. So I come to the waistline. I mark 3/3 as well. I'll connect this together. Now that I have done that, I'll come to the bust line. With the regular waist darts for the basic block, you should come down by 1 inch. But now I won't come down by 1 inch. I'll come down by 1.5 to give room for that bust. It will create room for the bust to sit. There will be no tension there. See? I now come inwards here and mark 1/2 inch. I do the same at the waistline. I mark 1/2 inch. I come outwards here. I'm modifying the darts here. You know, this is 1/2 inch here. But here, I'm modifying the darts. I'm using 1.5. I'm going to take 1.5 as my darts there. So this is 1.5. Look at it. Now, you're going to connect everything. Join the lines. Join the lines here as well. Modification, we have added to it to give it the Bustier like look. That is the name of it's a Bustier. We are making a Bustier. It cannot have the regular 0.5 darts. So to create a Bustier effect simply means where your breast, the bust area protrudes. It is very noticeable. It is shaped, well proportioned. So, and the Bustier effect helps people who don't have who are not endowed at the bosom area as well. You create lifts for them. So this is it. And the Bustier is going to be with us for a long time, a very long time, because it makes our outfits more fashionable. Now look at the effects here. It's formed already. We are going to discard with this part of, no, can you see, shaded part. We are going to get rid of this shaded part eventually. We don't need it. So let's go to the chest line and input our actual bust measurement. The bust circumference here is 36. I'm going to divide it by 4. You have 9. Why did I divide it by 4? It's simply because this paper is on fold, and this will cater for the front panel, the front part. This is the center front. I folded it into 2. This is for the front. Assume this is for the front fabric. I folded it in 2. Now, what it means is that you divide 36 by 2, you have 18. Now that 18 would be divided into 2 because this paper is in 2. You go ahead, input your 9 inches here. That's 9 inches. Come to your waist. The waist circumference is 30. You are going to divide that by 4 as well to get your actual. So this is it. Can you see? This is the actual. Now let's go and get our round armhole. This is, the armhole is 15 and we have 7.5 here. The 7.5 will be divided in 2. Fold your tape this way as well. 7.5. Can you see? What do you have? 3/3. Now, at the 3/3 point, come inwards by 3/3 as well. The front part of your chest isn't as wide as your back. That is just the truth. So that is just the reason for it. See, I've connected with my 9. See the smooth curve? I connected with that 9. What do you do next? You look for the middle of that 9. Look for the middle of your line. Measure all through. Measure the exact value you get on the curve. Measure the curve. I have exactly 8 here. What is 8 divided by 2? 4. Now look at it. This is where 4 ends. At that 4, just mark it this way. Keep it there. Now here, come upwards here by half of an inch. What do we need it for? Room as well. Ease. We don't want any tension at the bust area. We don't want any we don't want it to be too tight. We want ease at the bosom area. Just come up by half. That was why I went in downwards here by 1.5 before. And note that the bigger the bust, the bigger the higher the value you would have to use here. The higher the value here as well. 36 is a medium-sized bust. It's okay. So that's why I use half here and 1.5 here. It will sit comfortably well there. Now, at this point, we want to get we have to create darts, provide for darts here, which will be cut off to give shape to that armhole area. I hope you understand me. There should be shape to fit the armhole area in properly. You need darts there. So we are taking half an inch on both sides of that 4 I measured earlier. See? You are taking half an inch on both sides of it. Half. This is the modified princess dart bustier. We are modifying it. We are changing it to suit us. We want to use it. We want it to have a different look. Look at that half inch is somewhere here. So you are going to find a way of making your see what I'm doing? You just have to create your curves. Fine. You don't want any sharp edge. Don't want any sharp edge. Connect it smoothly. Perfect. See what I just did? Find a way of connecting smoothly. Connect smoothly. Don't forget that, please. Any sharp crease you leave behind would show in your work. Anything you leave behind will show in your work afterwards. So find a way of connecting smoothly. So this is it. At this half inch point, you connect. You are coming downwards as well here to shaping that bust area. You give shape to the bust area. At it. Connect. Can you see? It's as simple as this. There's no magic. It's as simple as this. Even without much effort, the cup is already formed. Now, come outwards here by 1 inch. You know why? You took 1 inch for your darts here. There would be a shortage of 1 inch if you do not return that 1 inch you took away. By the time you add this to this, it will be shorter. It won't be equal. Both will not be equal, except you return this to this. No. So it's like you borrowed. Now return. And use the last. Go upwards by 1 inch. 1 inch, please. Now what do? You return that 1 inch as well to this point. If not, it will be shorter too. That's how that works. Return 1 inch here as well. Then you recreate the armhole. It's now a new armhole. Can you see? This is your new armhole. Your new armhole. You are not cutting this off, oh, please, so don't cut this off, but this is the new armhole. Now that I've done the needful here, you go to your measurements to input the final measurement. I have already done that of the circumference, bust circumference divided by 4. I added the darts. The only thing left here is the seam allowance, which is 1.5. Look at it. Now, you come to the waist. I know I divided the waist circumference by 4, and I have 7.5. I borrowed 2 for my darts. I'm returning the 2. Can you see? I've returned the 2. I will now add 1.5 for seam, the way I did here, to join the front and the back panels together. Now, the thing with bustiers is that you must add more to your fabric. You cannot use the same quantity of fabric you used when making a bodice with waist darts. If you are going to make your bodice with you are going to make a bustier, you need more material. You need to add more to your material, and what you add to it depends on your dart intake. That's why I don't want to be specific. The volume of darts you take will determine the material you need for the front panel. So please take that into consideration whenever you are cutting. You want to make something of this nature. So we are going to cut this off. All the shaded parts you are going to cut off. You are cutting off from here down here. You are going to cut all this off. So that's the bust already. The bust is formed already. So the neckline depends on you as well. This is the width, the standard width of 3. You can choose to come down by 7, 10. You can even choose to have a wider neckline. It depends on the style you are making. So that's just the truth. It depends on the style. But this is just the standard neckline width of 3 inches, and I have done that. Now, whenever at the point of cutting on fabric, add half an inch. Add half an inch. Add half an inch to join both together. Add half an inch. It would be needed for joining. Don't forget that I have provided seams here. I didn't provide half an inch here. So let me mark so that you won't get confused. You will still need to add half an inch at the shoulder here. While cutting on fabric, add half an inch, please. And here as well, you add half an inch. So it's as simple as this. Don't get scared. Add half an inch. So half an inch is very vital. So you cut it out, you place on your fabric, provide for this half an inch, provide half an inch, provide half an inch, provide half an inch here as well when you are cutting out on fabric. Now let's go to the back pattern. The back pattern is actually going to be in form of waist darts. You can use the waist darts for your back pattern. You know, it's just the bustier effect is for the front. Your back might have a waist, the regular waist darts. So like I did for the front, look at it. Now I'm going to create the back armhole. Okay, this is 7.5. The armhole is 15 divided by 2. We have 7.5. Now I'll input the values. The 36 divided by 4. I'm going to input 36 divided by 4 here. So that is 9. We have 9 inches. 36 divided by 4 is 9 inches. Now, you create your armhole curve. Don't forget that the back, you don't need to go in at the back area because your back is broader than your front. Look at it. So this is where the 9 stops. Go ahead, add the 1.5 seam allowance like you did for the front. Just add your seam allowance as well, just like you did for the front. Try to smoothen it. You can use your free hand. You can use your free hand. You can use your free hand. So you don't need to use curves for everything. You can use your free hand. So that is it. Now, don't mind mine. Come to your waist. Now the exact waist circumference divided by 4 is 7.5 because it is 30 divided by 4. We are going to provide an inch for waist darts. An inch for waist darts. and 1.5 seam allowance, just like I did here. Now this is it. What do? You connect everything together. Smoothen it, please. So now to the darts area, I used a bust span of 7.5, and that is 3/3/4. Now, because I'm drafting directly on, you are assuming you are drafting on fabric. It's just waist darts. We are not going to cut them apart. It's going to be as a whole, unlike that where you cut apart and add your allowance afterwards. You don't need that here. You just add everything up at a go. So look at it. 3/3/4 is the actual. I'm going to add 1/2 inch to it for my darts. That's it. It's now 4.25. I'll come here, I'll mark that 4.25. Now this is my bust line, waist line, chest line. This is for zipper allowance, 1.5 inches, and that is the shoulder line. Now look at the back. At the bust line, just go upwards by 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. Look at it. That's 1/2 inch. Now from that 1/2 inch, you connect with your dot at the waist. As simple as this. The provision you made for your dart, the 1/2 inch you provided here, and the remaining 1/2 inch will be on this side. Don't forget that I added 1 inch here. So I'm now marking that 1/2 on both sides. 1/2 on both sides. Connect to the tip here. Connect your legs. So it's as simple as this. There's nothing technical about it. That's because it has waist darts. The standard neckline width of 3 is still intact here. Do whatever you like with your neckline. It's up to you. Now, to prevent zip bulge, there's something called zip bulge. By the time you wear your clothes, you might notice that here would come out like this, as if you are pregnant at the back. So to prevent that, just come here, your 1/2 length, your back 1/2 length, mark 1/2 inwards, 1/2 inch inwards. What do? This is where your dart begins. Look at it. Just smoothing it this way. Find a way of smoothing your work this way. It's as simple as this. Can you see? And make sure it extends to the allowance here as well. If you are going to add 1/2 inch allowance to it, extend it to it as well. Because you have to add 1/2 inch allowance here, add 1/2 inch allowance here as well. So I've provided seam allowance at the side. Now you reduced 1/2 here. You are going to have to reduce this 2 by 1/2. Connect right from that same point. So forget any zip bulge. By the time you do this, forget any zip bulge. That is, if you got your back 1/2 length accurate. That is also a determinant. The 1/2 length of your back measurement must be accurate. That's a major determinant of that's a major way to prevent zip bulge. Don't make a mistake when measuring your 1/2 length. So let's add 1/2 for the shoulder here. I'm leaving the neckline. It's up to you. Necklines depends on the styles. We used the standard. So I hope my video has been explanatory enough, and if you have benefited, please like, comment, and share my videos, and your subscription is of utmost importance to the growth of this channel. So thank you for finding time to watch my videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.